All right, so I think, we all know the challenges that we have as students. We go into university and we have this, wonderful expectation of, getting our degree and doing this wonderful research. And then we suddenly realize that actually, the success of this degree and the success of my contribution to, my field is really going to depend to a large extent on how well I can write about the research that I'm doing, how well I can write a proposal. One of the members of our student success coach community was actually doing her proposal presentation today. I was coaching her during the week and we had to look through her slides. And again, writing, whether it's on slides or whether it's in reports or whether it's in documents or anything else, is just so fundamental to your journey. And I really want you guys to, get confident and become good writers, because as you can see there, at the end of the day, you're going to hand in this report, especially if it's at a postgraduate level. And you're working towards that final outcome, and I always coach my students, think with that end point in mind. And even when you're writing a proposal, think about what you can reuse to get into that final report, and all the steps that you take along the way is going to be judged on how well you've written that final report. So let's just pick up a couple of questions as we go. Pambile, mental block, how do you overcome it? So I'm assuming mental block relating to writing. And the most important thing, even if you don't know what to write, you start writing. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. The reason you're not writing because you've got a mental block is because you haven't started writing. So you have to see it completely in reverse. Your mind cannot physically write anything. Only your hands can write something or type on a keyboard. So until you actually start writing, you haven't unlocked the link between your brain and your fingers. You cannot store an entire final report or thesis in your brain. That's not how it works. You have to get some of that down on paper. As you start getting that down on paper, it improves the way you think. And in the Student Success Masterclass, I talk about reading, writing, and thinking. And so your question is bang on, because thinking is so much a part of writing, and yet we don't link the two. So Pambile, number one, start writing even before you know what you need to write. And I guarantee you that every single sentence you write in your final report is not going to be the original version of it. You will never have a sentence in your mind that ends up in the same state in your final report. You're going to edit it, you're going to change it, and what you're going to learn today is techniques for moving things around in sentences to make your writing even better. So to overcome the mental block, start writing. And so you start writing, I don't know what to write, and then slowly but surely those thoughts will start coming through. And if you could think about that as generative writing, now you start thinking, okay, well, I can write this down, I can write that down, it's related to a topic, it's related to proposal. And then Pambile, you're starting to get words on a page, and at least you've overcome that initial mental block of actually not having words on a page. And writer's block, where you've just got that blinking cursor there, is something that can be quite scary. And that's the only way to overcome it, is just write. I don't know what to write, and then it'll start flowing from your brain. And then in your generative writing process, you do start trying to get something down on paper that's related to your topic. And then, Pambile, what I would suggest you do is you get into a habit of writing 100 words, 200 words, or even just 45 minutes every single day. My pattern in my life was always that, when we were going into the office, I would stop off at a coffee shop and I would be writing there for just 45 minutes before work every day. And that, over time, really became my final report. My thesis, really, I can tell you now, was largely written in coffee shops, and in the 10, 15, 20 minutes that I was able to snatch here and there. So, Pambile, hopefully that is useful thoughts for you there. Maureen, I've been told my writing is too scientific. Is there even such? I was so confused. Maureen, yes, there is. We're going to deal with that topic in this webinar, and I'll teach you how you must put complex topics at the end of your sentences. And what you're probably finding is that, and as students, we're quite passionate about our material, and we're also really wanting to show our supervisors and our examiners, that we know this material, we're making a contribution. And so we tend to, add the jargon and the definitions and so on into the writing. But we forget that our reader, even though they're an expert in that field, they're reading a lot of reports, they need to know a lot of terms, They don't know all the specifics of the things that you're talking about. So we'll get to the practice just now of putting complex topics and definitions and scientific elements of your writing at the end of your sentences. You have to have some degree of scientific content in your writing, because at a postgraduate level, it's complex, it's important, it's dealing with complex things, but there's a way of writing about it that for your reader doesn't make them feel like this is scientific. You've got to be telling a story, you've got to be taking them on a journey, you've got to get your reader all the way through from your title and your abstract and your table of contents all the way through to the last page of your last appendix of your 200-page final report. Now, if they're feeling that that writing is too dense and scientific, they're going to struggle to get through it. Because I tell you what, just like that guy there on the slide is handing in a pile of papers, that professor there back on his desk, he's got an even bigger pile of papers of all the student writing that he has to mark. So you have to be very sensitive to your reader as well.